The content on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only. Please contact your financial advisor for any financial questions you may have concerning your investments. I'm going to walk you through what I just went through at a particular dealership. And it's not a knock against any of the people or the employees of the dealership. It's the process, and it doesn't matter which dealership you go to. Over the weekend, I went ahead and tried to make some moves and see what I could do to possibly get in a new vehicle in these troubling times. Um, what I'm finding is probably the same concerns that you have when you're going out and looking for your things. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to avoid from now on. It's just not worth the hassle, frustration, or disappointment. Let's talk about it. Now, throughout this video, I'm going to be talking about a couple of sites that I've used personally, and I'm not paid by any of these sites, but I'm going to promote Car Edge. I love that website, love the father and son duo. They provided me with a great deal of information that I can arm myself with. But when walking in a dealership, it's not going to really make a difference. Stay tuned to the rest of the video to see why that happens, but definitely arm yourself with more knowledge. But my first major ick with the dealership process actually starts on the computer. When you go ahead and you're looking for a quote for any of the vehicles that you find interesting, something that you want to buy, you take the time to fill out all the questionnaires in hopes that you're going to get a quote right then and there. That's the first major disappointment. You never get a actual number. The same amount of time that I spent figuring out or asking or inquiring about what I wanted to buy, just give me a ballpark figure. That information is not forthcoming, but you're being forthcoming with the information you're providing: your telephone number, your email address, how much money you make. That comes right off on this questionnaire, and you never get an answer. What you get is a bunch of phone calls throughout the day. Soon as business hours hit, hey, when can we get you to come in? The whole point of going online is so I don't have to come in, and that is an ick to me. Um, you want to do a test drive on a dealership? Fine, go in. But let's talk about these numbers first. I'm interested in the vehicle. Don't worry about making a relationship out of this. I'm just here to buy a car. That's my first ick. Give the information that we came to get, and it never happens. Now, the next big ick is something you can avoid by just having your cash in hand or having your financing in hand. Anytime you go to that dealership, this is where 90% of the time you sit around drinking water or coffee while they're going back and forth talking to their manager about what they can work with and what they can't. Even though you got the advertised price and you've got the information on the vehicle, you're going to be sitting there while they play this game of chess with you, this cat and mouse game. You've already established the fact that you wanted to get the car, or else you wouldn't be there. You've already established the fact that maybe I'm open to financing a vehicle, but the numbers just have to be right. If they're not even giving you the quote that you asked for at first, and you still haven't got that, and now we're asking about what payment you would be comfortable at, man, I ain't even say I was gonna do financing. I haven't even told you that I might have my own financing before I step up in here. Please be aware of the game that's being played. It's all calculated. The dealership is set up to operate so that they can get the most information out of you for the least amount of effort. Now, judging on what you've already given, you might have given the dealer some information that you probably shouldn't have. They're going to ask you this kind of, vague question. Hey, what payment would you be comfortable with? Never answer that question, because miraculously, whatever number you come up with, oh, that's right alongside with what my manager was actually able to do. Nah, man, don't even give them that, or at least make them work for it. All right, listen carefully how they respond to the question when you give them that non-answer too, because they're gonna tell you right off the rip, well, we're not gonna go back and forth on it because they already know what the game is. I'm not trying to tell you what it is that I'm trying to pay or what I'm comfortable paying. That's just giving you an indication of how much you can push. But at any rate, you're finally there and you're finally getting the numbers that you asked for. That's the quote, the out the door price of what you're talking about. Now, you're going to have tag and tax and title on there. That's okay. But there are some things that's going to come out on this invoice that you're going to walk away from. You're not going to be a jerk about it. But if you see it on there, on that invoice, get up and say, nah, this is not negotiable. And that's going to be doc fees and an ETR fee. This ETR fee for the state of Georgia, I know this is the electronic title registration. That's $25. I saw a fee on mine for $999. There's no way you can justify it. You can ask to itemize it, but honestly, if you see that on an invoice, get out of there. Same thing with doc fees. You know, if you're going to be paying for documentation for a vehicle, nah, nah, especially in the tunes of hundreds of dollars. What they're doing is having you finance their employees or wherever they're using that money for, because it's not going to the purchase of that vehicle and it's not mandatory. So stay away from those two things, particularly doc fees and ETR fees. Now, after all the pleasantries you've had with your personal salesperson on the floor, and he's gone back several times to the manager, the finance manager. Finance manager is now in your face full time, and he's giving you the 1-2. Um, he's already going over things that you've already said no to, such as for my case, I didn't want to do a trade-in. I'm not trading in my vehicle. The amount of money they were going to give me initially was $2,000. All of a sudden, that changed to $5,000 for this 2019 car. And I said it was off the table because I actually want to have a secondary car, a second car. And it's just not worth it for me to get rid of one car for 5 grand only to make a payment on another car and that still be my only car. So give up ownership so that you can go ahead and be stuck in the same position. Nah, not gonna happen. But the ick here is after all of that's done, he comes out and let's take a walk with me. So we go walk, and this is after the initial test drive on the vehicles that you wanted, and they want to see if you want to be interested in getting something else. Now that's an indication, or that's just telling you flat out, we're not going to be able to make this deal with the car you wanted. I want to see if you want to buy this car, and it's a used car. It has way more miles than what you wanted to pay for it. It's not the same type. It's older. Still not a bad car, but they want to see if you're going to bite. Basically, help them take some used car off their lot so they can make more money. Bruh, to me, that's so disrespectful. And you came in looking at one car, you know what you want, you did the research, and you want me to just throw all that research away to get into something random. First, if you're not pressed, just walk away. Just nah. I let them go through the real rigmarole. Again, it's not about the dealers or the finance manager. They're just trying to do a job. But honestly, it's not what I wanted. And I asked a couple of questions. Like, I was still interested. Hey, it's a nice looking car. It's okay. You know, pretty big. Cool. How many miles it has on it? And you still want to sell it at the same price that I was trying to negotiate this other vehicle for? I don't even want to know what the price was because I'm not financing any kind of money on a car that I didn't want. So again, don't be a jerk about it. Just like, nah, not interested. Let's roll. And let's leave it at that. But that is an ick. The bait and switch. I came in there for one car, and you're now trying to see how this would float. Don't do that. Now, this last, it has to deal with the waiting game that's going to happen next because you've walked out, you didn't get the car that you wanted, you didn't get the deal that you wanted. But, honestly, I prefer a quick no over a long yes any day of the week. Um, they did save me a little bit of time, but, it's still like 2 or 3 hours just, doing the test drives and going through these little negotiations. And, I went back home. However, going back home, they're not done with you. Just because you didn't get that deal, they're still going to keep your information. And they've already run your credit. You've already gotten approved, but they want to see if they can wait you out and want to see if these things, the situation improves. If they have need to come back at you, because they're still going to try to make more money off of that vehicle. Somebody else may come in, but push comes to shove, they are going to call back. And that's the thing you gotta look out for. But in the meantime, that's also going to free you up to go explore other options, other deals, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. You don't have to put all your eggs in one basket, especially if you're not pressed for a vehicle. There are situations where you have to have one. You don't have a car, then you need one desperately. Then you have to do some things that you probably normally wouldn't do on a regular day. But when you're in a situation where you can safeguard yourself and protect yourself from getting into any kind of long term debt, which is the antithesis of building generational wealth, do it. Take a pause. Sometimes you get caught up in that car buying frenzy. I want to get a car just because I can get a car. But I'm thinking at it like, okay, from a budget standpoint, life's pretty good right now. I managed to get a lot of debt consolidated and eliminated. And I don't have to pay anything additional for the vehicle that I'm driving, and it's in great running order. So let me just continue to drive this vehicle that I have versus getting into some more debt. But yeah, it's going to come around because the dealers right now, particularly, have huge inventory. The car that I was looking at right now, was on that lot for well over a year. It's a 2024 and it's brand new. It had 6 miles on it. They've used it to, I guess, loaner vehicles or whatever. Another one had 700 miles on it. Again, it's been on our lot for hundreds of days, and more new cars are coming in. So they're going to have to trim that inventory. They may not have wanted to balk at that $1,000 difference that you were negotiating, but give them a week, and that'll give you some time to maybe come up with some more money to make it even more appealing if you do want to do financing, or even get you some different financing so you don't have to go through the process again. And that's what I'm going to do. Either get the cash up myself or come in with my own financing. And that's the best way to safeguard yourself from this kind of hassle.